ding dong, ding dong. Oh, Reggie,
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Tyler, and today I am bringing you guys a collab video, and this video is What If Kami Wished for Youth. Now this collab is going to be with my boy, the one and only DH Animations. You know, you can give your little intro, man.
What's good, y'all? It's DH Animations.
And with that being said, let's get right into part 1, and, well, hope you guys enjoy.
Hey, collecting rings like a Sonic. Bitches wanna party. Virus getting heavy, so I got 'em on a diet, yeah. Flex like I'm Hogan. Yo, bitch coming over. We respect.
We start our story off with Kami and Popo currently on the lookout, and this is around 2 years after the events of the 23rd Budokai. Kami has been thinking over the course of these few years, and he would come to the conclusion eventually that he doesn't want to be useless anymore. He shockingly comes to the fact that he, for a guardian of Earth, is actually a pretty useless god. I mean, he literally let the Earthlings, the people he's supposed to protect him and the planet, rather than him doing the job. And he even tried to combat Piccolo Jr., his son, and he even failed to do that, and Goku had to help him out with that. He can't just let Goku do everything for him and just rely on the Earthlings to protect him and protect the planet. His job is to protect this planet, and so he wants to do his job. This is something that I don't really know why Kami didn't do in the original, but that will be saved for another video for another time. Kami would call Popo over, and he would tell him to go on his magic carpet and hunt down the 7 Dragon Balls. At that point, Popo quickly hops on the carpet and would proceed to gather the Dragon Balls, which he doesn't have too much of a hard time doing since he can fly around the world at high speeds. Eventually, Popo arrives back to the lookout with the 7 Dragon Balls, and Kami then summons Shenron and asks the dragon to restore his body back into its prime condition. Shenron then does so, and the Dragon Balls then scatter. At that point, Kami would then have his body restored as a flash of light would then emit around him, and we would then see a much younger Kami after this light dwindles away. Kami is shown to be much more younger and a lot more powerful than his older self, surpassing even the likes of his old body and even rivaling King Piccolo. He feels strong, but he knows that he can't even try and fight Piccolo Jr. even if he wanted to, so he takes further precautions and decides to head inside the hyperbolic time chamber. Yes, the hyperbolic time chamber, where he will use both the days in the time chamber to maximize his power. At that point, we would then see Kami last just heading inside the time chamber. And then we see a younger Kami posted up on the lookout with Popo, and all of a sudden the two would sense a high power level in the far distance that they have not recognized before at all. As you all know, this would be Raditz, and he would proceed to kill a farmer, which Kami does sense, and he also senses Piccolo arriving onto the scene, and he knows that unrecognizable key. He knows that if that unrecognizable key fights Piccolo, it would kill him, and so this means that if it kills Piccolo, this would also kill Kami, and so he decides to take matters into his own hands and rushes at high speeds towards the two powers. He would see Piccolo getting done shooting a blast that does no damage to Raditz, and right as Raditz is about to shoot a blast of his own towards Piccolo, Kami would arrive and intercept the blast, completely deflecting it to the other direction, negging the attack. Raditz is taken aback by this, but he then calms down as he then scouts Kami's power level, which he finds to be a measly 400. It was just a fluke, or so he thinks, as Kami would then smirk, proving that the scouters aren't a very reliable source, by powering up and tapping into his 100%. The number on Raditz's scouter would just keep rising until it then stops at a power level of 2,150, a power level that surpasses even Raditz himself, aka Kami, the Guardian of Earth.
At that point, Raditz is shook. So this tries to act defeated, you know what I'm saying, play dead, so he could try and catch Kami off guard. And this dumbass Kami actually falls for it. But just as Raditz is about to punch that Kami grabs his fist and blocks it. So apparently, Kami isn't dumb. You know what I'm saying? Kami, alright, he got a little chicken nugget knowledge. I thought that nigga Raditz was just about to catch him slipping with a punch. And that was gonna be it. Kami would then say how his time on this earth has run up, and he shall feel the power of Earth's guardian, as he proceeds to shoot a hole right through Raditz. He penetrated him. He put Raditz on black for real. Raditz is on the ground, you know what I'm saying? He just got penetrated. But before he dies, he warns the two Namekians of 2 Saiyans out there even stronger than him. And they gonna come and they gonna tear everything up, Mo. Everything get fucked up, bruh. These Saiyans are real. They are built different. Raditz said that they're even stronger than Kami. Even Kami don't want no smoke with him. At that point, Raditz dies, and Kami would immediately turn to Piccolo and say that if they want to defeat these Saiyans, they're going to have to work together. There's no way you could chicken nugget around it. They got to work together. And that's when Piccolo responds with how they can work together and work with each other if the Saiyans do try to like run up on them, like if the Saiyans try to pull up on their planet. And Vegeta and Nappa would speak out into the scouter saying that they don't even care about Raditz for real, but like the Earth's Guardian, he seemed kind of built different, and he might be like a good person to recruit to the Frieza Force along with Kakarot. So they're gonna arrive in about a year. Remember, Namekians have good hearing. Anyways, Piccolo looks to Kami and he says how they're gonna work together, but after they defeat the Saiyans, they going back to normal terms, bruh. Kami, before even being able to get a response, would see Piccolo power up and fly into the air, disappearing into the mountains, where he would begin his intense training in solitude. At that point, Kami would then know what to do, and he flies to where everyone else is at, aka Roshi's Island. And Kami would warn the Z Fighters about the Saiyan threat. Goku would try and follow Kami, and Kami would tell Goku about King Kai and how he needs to train Goku, cause right now, Goku not built for this Saiyan life. I mean, yeah, he a Saiyan, but he not built like how Vegeta and Nappa built. Goku says he's fine with this, and Kami says that he will transport him whenever he is ready. And as for the Earthling Z Fighters, like you know what I'm saying, Kami tells them that they need to gather the other humans and meet him at the lookout. Kami then flies to the lookout, and the Z Fighters understand they're going to need to train hard if they want to beat these Saiyans. Goku would go back home and tell Chi-Chi how he's going off for about a year to train for a huge threat. And Chi-Chi, you know how she be, bruh. Bitch, she gets mad at first, you know what I'm saying? Blah, 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 you need to, blah, blah. You know how Chi-Chi gets. But Goku just tells her, shut up, it's for my own good, and he just flies away. And Gohan this time doesn't train with Piccolo or anybody really, since he never had that Raditz encounter to be put in that situation to have to train. Remember, Gohan always wanted to be a scholar. Even as a child, he said that. Anyways, Goku still gets teleported and goes through Snake Way and trains with King Kai, and he gets just as strong as he did in the original canon series. But that's the opposite, I could say, for the Earthlings. Because Kami told the Earthlings right off the bat to come to the lookout, they would go to train from the get-go with a stronger Kami, leading the Earthlings to get even stronger than they were in the canon. These Earthlings are built different. Let me tell y'all, bruh. Tien's power level, 2,230. Krillin's, 2,170. Yamcha's, 1,880. Chaozu, 1,010. Well, you know, it's Chaozu. Yajirobe, 1,370. And as for Piccolo, well, Piccolo's power, it remains the same. But Kami, on the other hand, he would get even stronger since he's been training really hard with the Earthlings, obtaining a power level of 4,000.
Now, before we actually get into the main part of the Saiyan saga, there's one thing I did manage to forget to say. Kami, during the one-year training arc, did wish to Shenron to bring back Goku whenever the Saiyans arrived, which means Goku would be immediately teleported to the lookout right as Nappa destroys the city. And so this means Goku, Kami, along with the other Z Fighters then rush out, and they head to the wasteland similar to in canon, where Nappa and Vegeta would eventually arrive, meeting up with the Z Fighters, and they would still plant the Cybermen similar to in canon, but the Z Fighters here are a lot more powerful than their canon selves, and they would easily take on the Cybermen, with Yamcha this time not going down from an off-guarded attack, but rather killing him off immediately with a Kamehameha because of his higher power level. This basically means the Z Fighters are able to clean up the cannon fodder with literally no difficulty, and so with that being said, Nappa would then power up wanting to challenge Kakarot, but at that point Kami would then step up saying that he can actually take on Nappa, as Vegeta is a lot more powerful than everyone else here and Goku is the strongest amongst the Z Fighters. It would make the most sense for Goku to actually go out and fight Vegeta while the Z Fighters handle Nappa, since Kami and Nappa are already relative, but with the numbers advantage they could definitely take him on. And so, Goku in the end decides to fight Vegeta rather than Nappa first, and Kami would then fight Nappa. Now, Goku and Vegeta's fight plays out identical to in canon because nothing really changes in this part of the story. However, the Nappa fight I can actually go over. Now, Kami and Nappa are actually relative with each other, both having a power level of 4,000, and so they would basically be going blow for blow with each other. With Kami maybe having a little bit of an advantage with his skill, but he knows that he needs to finish this fight off now, because around this point where Nappa and Kami are fighting, Goku and Vegeta are about to get ready to do their Kamehameha and their Gallic Gun clash. Kami knows that he needs to try and help out and protect the planet the best he can, and so he powers up to his 100% and tells the other Z Fighters to step in, saying that they can't play around anymore. And so Kami fires a full powered 100% Ki Blast at Nappa and it rushes towards him, and Nappa in reaction to this fires a break cannon. The two would then clash with each other and they're going back and forth as Goku and Vegeta are having their clash. And at that point, as Goku screams out ×4 and overpowers Vegeta, Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, and Chaozu stand beside Kami and fire Ki Blasts of their own, with Piccolo even chipping in and shooting a blast from the back of Nappa that would allow Kami and the others to push their full power and atomize Nappa. Basically what Piccolo did was he pulled the Vegeta to Cell and blasted him from the back, which caught Nappa off guard. Now, as we all know, Vegeta would come back and turn into a Great Ape. However, with Kami's inclusion and more Z Fighters here, it's probably more likely that Vegeta gets his tail cut off way faster than in canon, and with Kami's inclusion, I do not see Vegeta surviving the Saiyan saga at all. Here is why. We have to understand that Kami is someone who wants to protect the Earth, and literally the only reason he did this, to wish for youth and all this stuff, he got all this power, was to protect Earth from threats like Vegeta and eliminate them. And before any of you say it, Kami wants to protect the Earth more than anything. He doesn't care about Goku, wanting to fight Vegeta and all that stuff. Letting Vegeta live causes more risk to the planet, and Kami doesn't want that. And so when Vegeta is trying to crawl to his space pod and Krillin has the sword and Goku tries to stop Krillin, Kami would walk ahead and shoot a Ki Blast towards Vegeta that would atomize him completely, and he just ignores Goku's words because he doesn't care about Goku wanting a challenge. He wants to protect the Earth. Now, with the defeat of Vegeta and no one dying in the Z Fighter group, literally not one person, this means that they have no reason at all to go to Namek, so they just kind of vibe out on Earth for the next 2 years where they would face no threats, which is a good thing because I can go over what happens during these 2 years because the Z Fighters do train. After the Saiyan saga, they realize that they need to train for much more powerful threats, and so they decide to keep up their training, with Yamcha, Krillin, and Tien kind of just doing Earth training, and Chaozu, joining in and whatever. I don't really know why I have to mention Chaozu, but anyways, I can go over the more important characters such as Goku and Kami and Piccolo. So to start off, during these 2 years, I can see something going down for Kami. Without Goku's help, he and the Z Fighters would have died to Vegeta, and he's going to need a power that allows him to close the gaps in battles. And at that point, Kami gets the idea of training where Goku was to solidify more safety onto the Earth, and plus he wants to become more useful anyways, so he decides to head to King Kai's, and for the next 2 years he would train. Beforehand, he would cross Snake Way and meet with King Kai, and then train, catch bubbles, learn the Kaioken, and even the Spirit Bomb. Yes, I'm going to say he learns everything from King Kai here because he's training with them for 2 whole years. And during this time, don't think that Goku wouldn't have joined in on the training and Kami and Goku wouldn't be sparring on the daily on King Kai's planet, because that's definitely what's going on. Now, as for Piccolo, I'm basically going to be saying here that Piccolo isn't going to be mad at Goku or Kami or basically anyone anymore. Piccolo specifically puts things aside between he and Goku after finding out he's not actually a demon. He just feels lost and he needs to start a new life trying to figure some things out. Piccolo would then say to Goku as well that just because he puts things aside doesn't mean the rivalry won't continue, and Piccolo will one day defeat Goku still. Goku smirks as he would then say that he'll be waiting, and at that point Piccolo and Goku then depart off, where Piccolo would do his own training on his own time, trying to re-establish his purpose. Now, with all that being said, the 2-year time skip would then conclude, and
As we all know, 2 years after the Saiyan saga is actually the same time that the future warrior arrives into the past, bruh. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all know who I'm talking about, bruh. But this time, it's a different fighter. Rather than future Trunks showing up, it's surprisingly his teacher, future Gohan. But that's where we're going to be leaving things for now. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for letting me on the channel, Tylearn. I make what if videos too. I got a couple bangers on my channel, like what if Goku fought Jesus? You know what I'm saying? What if a grizzly bear fought a gorilla? I got some chicken nugget bangers on my channel. Check me out. You know what I'm saying? And thanks for watching, y'all, and y'all have a great day.